and we're now just 1 week away from the RNC convention in Cleveland. Let's bring in our Fox News political insiders. A happy place. John LeBoutillier, former Republican congressman for New York. Pat Caddell, a former pollster for President Jimmy Carter. And Fox News contributor Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Bill Clinton, and Fox News contributor as well. Let's start with the VP pick, if we can. Donald Trump, we're starting to get a view of the short list. And we see him with some of these people. Your thoughts?
Well, Donald Trump has to do something bold with the VP, because this is a big, big week just concluded for Secretary Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was exonerated on the email scandal. Her poll numbers.
Oh my gosh, Pat is rolling his eyes. He's going to fall asleep.
You know, Hillary, we got to face facts. And the facts are exonerated campaigning, as you said, with Bernie Sanders. The President of the United States campaigned with her. His approval ratings are going up. She's raising literally boatloads of money. I think, Pat and John, you got to be fair. You got to be honest. The Secretary of State is in a strong, emboldened position because she was exonerated in the FBI investigation.
Boy,
Pat, do you like that?
Well, I don't know what you're smoking, but I got to tell you, if she was exonerated, she was crucified by Comey, and we can get into all of that, what happened. But look, she has been found to have been a liar on everything she told the public, and maybe what she told the Benghazi committee. She has been her entire competency. She may be the most qualified and the least competent person ever about to get the nomination.
But most qualified, you can see.
No, in terms of your resume of where you've been, her performance is one series of disasters after another, and we find this raises serious questions about what she does. But her integrity, which was already in the tank, is now worsened.
Can I go
so my question was about vice presidential picks with Donald Trump.
I'm going to get to that, because I think we all have to look at this thing. Before we can do Trump and where he's at on VP, you got to look at the whole week last week, because for the voter, it's a very disconcerting picture. You have the head of the FBI at 11 a.m. on Tuesday saying Hillary didn't break any laws. And while that's on, we have a split screen on TV of the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, getting on Air Force One from the back stairs, President getting on the front stairs. They fly off to Charlotte and do this event together, where, in effect, the President put his good housekeeping stamp of approval on Hillary Clinton the very day that the FBI clears Hillary Clinton.
And you're saying this was coordinated?
There's no doubt it's coordinated.
Oh, come on.
No, Doug.
Bill and Hillary, excuse me, Bill and
Loretta Lynch.
Loretta Lynch on the runway, and then and then in the paper,
you really
on the
think Bill
front page of the New York Times, it says Hillary's going to keep Lynch. I mean, I'm never.
So Doug, let me ask you a question. Of the wonderful people who watch this show, is it 95 or 100% of the people who believe that was orchestrated?
100% of the people are good, honest people. But I think they have to understand, through what we're seeing, that the Democratic Party is consolidating around the Secretary of State. The Republicans remain divided.
That's not true. This is good news. That the whole thing looks rigged is the point of this thing. It looks, and I believe this is the case, and I said it to you off the air, and I'll say it to our viewers. Why would a Democratic administration headed by Barack Obama, who has endorsed Hillary, why would that administration take down Hillary? Why would they indict Hillary? Why would they ruin Hillary?
Why they're nominating her. I mean, my God, she is so moved.
Because they think she can win.
Let's talk a little bit about. So nobody wants to talk about Donald Trump. Okay, let's go back there. I'm going to start with you. Who should he pick? And do you like anybody particularly on the so-called short list?
All right, let me just say, I said it last week, but we didn't have the pleasure of your company on the 4th of July. There is only one person that he really ought to pick, and it's John Kasich, because that gives him a best shot at Ohio.
It'll never happen.
Well, it may not, but you asked who he... Doug, the question, if I may answer it, was who should he pick?
Does John Kasich eventually show up to the convention?
No, apparently it's very bad blood, and I blame them. They should have healed this up, but they didn't. So we move on. But that's who he ought to pick. If he wants to get 270 electoral votes, and that's all that matters now. Who's getting the 270?
It's Michael Flynn. To have somebody from the military with a strong stand on terror, notwithstanding his position on abortion.
No way.
It really would help Trump.
Why don't conservatives say that they like him, some of them?
Because he's strong on terror.
How did it work out with these other generals, like Curtis LeMay,
There's a guy named
you saw him
Eisenhower.
earlier
But
today.
they won wars, those guys.
You saw General Flynn earlier today. A lot of people like him.
I do.
He's
He's a
very
great
well
man.
respected.
Great
He
man.
stumbled
Not
a
for
little
vice
bit
president.
on some of the other issues because he said he didn't really want to talk about those issues. But if you're vice president, you'd have to talk about those issues, Pat.
Well, I don't know if that's how real that is. I think.
Who should he pick, Pat?
Well, I don't know. I just will give you the criteria, and he needs to get the best candidate who will give him, who can fight for him, who's got experience in Washington, who the press will say, not that I particularly care what they say, but who will be generally in the political class acknowledged to be a serious person.
Anybody he shouldn't pick
Our friend Newt
on the
Gingrich?
short list that you're hearing. He's with Governor Christie tomorrow.
Governor Christie.
I think Christie, to me, I still think he'll pick Christie because he's been the most loyal, and
What about
Trump
Mike Pence?
likes yes men.
Hold on
around
one
him.
second.
He likes
would you be
people-
comfortable with Christie?
It's not what I'm comfortable with. I'm just analyzing the race, and I think
Mike
that's
Pence is the best insider.
The best
he wants to do it. He's a conservative. Down the line, on choice, he takes the
I'm not sure he
Republican
wants to
position.
do it.
helps. Oh, he desperately
He'd
wants.
have to give up the
Look,
governorship.
let me just say, we have an election here
And so would
that
Christie.
came into
He's not running
clarity.
again.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
came into much sharper clarity this week, and it's a very serious one.
I don't agree.
Are we headed toward an election where we are going to have ultimately cynicism run the country, have
Yes.
corruption?
Secretary
Let me
Clinton's
finish
doing it.
my point. Corruption, run amok, the criminal enterprise move
this
to the
is the
White House,
campaign. This is
and
what-
this is the question, because what we have coming out of the Hillary Clinton's acolytes and her enablers in the press is the assumption that the American people are too stupid to understand what's going on and too ignorant to care. And that is wrong.
Let me go
All
back
right.
one thing to Doug's point about Mike Pence. The other thing is when a nominee has to go to his base to get a VP,
right, we gotta
it's
go.
a mistake.